He left you. And now you're faced with the fact that you have no clue and no closure. No closure is a popular term that gets thrown around and a popular thing that people get frustrated with because they do not have closure after being with a toxic person. No matter how you reach out, he's not responding. No matter how you talk to him, he's not giving you answers. No matter how you confront him about the fact that he was cheating, he's not admitting to it. And you have zero closure. And you're like, I don't know how to heal from this. I don't know how to move forward because there is no closure there. So I want to talk to you some today about closure, and we're actually going to be stepping into a book today called Psychopath Free. Kind of see it there? The free is kind of hard to see, but it's there. Psychopath Free. And inside this book, if you haven't read it, it's a great book if you're dealing with narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, any of those kind of things. If you're dealing with toxic relationships, it's an absolutely great book. But I want to talk through this piece of closure without contact. A lot of times people think you need to talk to the narcissist to get closure. You need to communicate, sit down, have a coffee brunch where you just ask a bunch of questions and he bears his heart and soul and you finally figure it out. That's never going to happen. And if you're believing and thinking that's going to happen, one, you're naive, and two, he's going to use that and leverage that to abuse you even more. So let's just get it on the table. You're not going to get closure from a narcissist. So I might have just crushed some of your hopes and dreams of getting closure, but hang tight. You can get closure. It's just not going to be from him. So inside this piece of closure without contact, it's important for you to be able to understand. And inside the book, it says, the good news is that yes, closure is possible. And no, it will not come from the psychopath, the sociopath, the narcissist. It must come within. And we're going to look through a couple of pieces here. First one is how you actually start moving through this. The first piece is letting go of the illusion. You see, you believe and you think and you imagine this illusion. This perfect relationship because you had amazing sex, because the communication was on point, because you had great vacations, because of all these different things, you have this illusion. It's to stop all contact. And the only way to do that is to let go of the image that you had of the person you love. Unfortunately and sadly, that person never existed. I've got a video on that. He was only just an illusion, a mask that he was created in order to mirror and manipulate you. As crushing hard as it is, and as much as it hurts, the only way to find freedom is to stop believing in that illusion. You need to realize this. All of it was a lie, except for you and your feelings for him. This is one of the hardest pieces. But if you can start to wrap your head around this of wait a second, it doesn't match up. He didn't demonstrate, he didn't show the evidence, he didn't actually care. All of it was a lie, except for you. You showed up genuine. You showed up real. Your feelings were valid. Your feelings were real. Understand that. Sit with it. It's okay. But his weren't. How do I know? Well, because he's still not here. He left you. Other piece was search for answers, but stay safe. Okay, you need to understand inside this process, we're not going searching for answers. You're not rummaging through his trash. You're not stalking him. You're not going through the different pieces. You're working on answers, but you have to be careful with this. Okay? Inside of this, it says, she's talking here, because I conducted my mission without making contact with the psychopath or anyone else connected to him. I also did not reveal my new knowledge to him or his fan club, although I desperately wanted to. Finally, when I exhausted every anonymous avenue available to me, I stopped. I was far from healed, and I uncovered only a portion of the truth, but I felt that I reclaimed part of myself. The entire process was an important step in rebuilding my self-respect. It is completely okay to search for as many answers as you can to uncover as much of the truth as possible, as long as you follow the no contact rule. Because if you don't, you will open the door back up for him to come back into your life. You'll open the door to get sucked back into the relationship. So search for answers. Okay, but at the end of the day, understand the answers will not heal you. They will help you move in that direction, but they will not heal you. I've had to be very blunt sometimes with people that will call me or that will sit down, we'll have a conversation, and all they want to do is answer questions. And I'll answer a bunch of questions, and I need to let them know, hey, just so you know, this will not heal you. Because sometimes people are looking for that. Well, they're like, if I just understand the next motivation, the next question, if I just understand the next thing, then I'll get healed. I'm like, sorry, it doesn't work that way. Knowledge doesn't equal healing. Changing the mindset, transforming what's actually going on in here is where the healing starts. It doesn't come just from the knowledge. Because even if you understand everything about the narcissist and everything about the relationship, it won't heal you. Until you change the story and the mindset and the thoughts and the beliefs and the limiting things that are holding you back from being your true self and your true potential, you will not heal just by getting knowledge. Mentions here to research it as well. Like, look into it. You need to understand you didn't understand this stuff. You were innocent, you were left, you were confused. By learning to recognize the common tactics and games of psychopathic, narcissistic predators, you will realize the abuse was never your fault. Instead, it's someone else coming after you, trying to make sure that they manipulate and control you. Then it moves on and says, allow yourself to feel and think. All normal human beings attempt to avoid pain. Yet paradoxically, it is by facing the pain and moving through it that we find beauty, because on the other side of our deepest suffering, we have the opportunity to express the greatest joy. As you heal, you will find yourself moving back and forth through the stages of grief that are unique to the aftermath of an encounter with an abuser. Allow yourself to feel all emotions as they come over you, which will most likely happen in waves. Also, allow the thoughts of the abuser in which they overwhelm your mind, even though you may feel as if you're going crazy because you can think of nothing else. Continuously pushing the obsessive thoughts away can actually be more harmful than helpful. You most likely are experiencing symptoms of PTSD, and it is important to find resources to help you work through the trauma of what has happened. You might include therapy and or healing techniques. Amazingly, if you step into the pain instead of running from it, you will begin to see that you are who you are at a deeper level. You develop self-respect, self-love, a new confidence. You learn to trust your intuition. And when you're able to trust yourself, then you will start to find others who are worthy of your trust. This is one of the most interesting things is people will say all the time, I just don't know if I can trust anybody again. I'm like, you can't right now, because right now you don't know how to trust yourself. Like, you haven't learned and seen enough to be able to say, oh, I can actually identify this toxicity because I know my worth, I know my value, I have self-respect. So as a result, I'm not putting up with that. Let's go this way. Most of the time when a person is saying they're not sure if they can trust other people, it's typically because you cannot trust yourself to make healthy decisions. Because the past litany of decisions you've made have been with a toxic, narcissistic, abusive asshole. Accept what you can and you cannot control. You will never receive traditional closure from the psychopath, but the light you can discover within your own soul is so much better. I was mentioning this earlier. You can't get closure from him. He's never going to give it to you. And any attempt, any thought that he's going to give it to you is typically a manipulation tactic that he's throwing out there to get you back. Trust in your own unique truth. It mentions down here that you have a similar voice in your own heart. Listen to it. And please hold on to this truth. You can find closure without contact. You can find peace on the other side of the nightmare. Read and learn about psychopaths, narcissists. Move through the pain. Take back your power. And most of all, strive daily to believe in and love yourself, your most authentic self. You are your own best guide. Inside of all this piece, when we talk through this piece of closure, like, you have to be able to understand you're having to rewire your mindset. Inside the book here, it talks about unbrainwashing. Like, I referred to a lot of times of rewiring your mindset. We deal with it in a tool that we call stacking inside of the programs, changing your thought process. All of your thoughts about it being your fault are totally untrue. Only you can't see this clearly because you've had lies about who you are and your part in the relationship pounded into your brain over and over and over again. This creates cognitive dissonance, causing you to have doubts about ending the relationship. These are the triggers. These are the things that are coming into your mind. The more your brain is washed in truth, the more the lies that the abuser pounded into your brain recede and eventually fade away. This is why we focus so much on the triggers and on the facts. Because if we can have you deal with the triggers, you can start to see, this is what I was believing. This is what I was thinking. Is it true? What are the facts? What do I need to believe? Change your story. Change your life. Rewire your mindset, okay? Unbrainwashing, changing the piece back because you've been believing lies. Here's the thing. The narcissist will put lies on you so much that over a period of time, you will start to believe and you will start to develop your own lies. You will start to build your own lies into this reality, thinking and experiencing, being like, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this actually is who I am, and you will start to believe it, and oftentimes, even after the relationship, continue to abuse yourself with your lies that you created because he kept pressing more lies on top of you. And so understand this process of closure. It can't come from him. It has to come from you. It has to come from your truth, from understanding the facts of what's actually real, being able to work through the pain, not around it, being able to get really clear and true with yourself. Dealing with the triggers, focusing on what's emotionally spinning you up and spinning you out, and helping you actually process and work through that thought process. If I can help you with this today, please reach out. I teach people a process called stacking. I help people rewire their mindset. I help people eradicate the triggers, get rid of the things that are spiraling you out on a day-to-day basis so you can stand in your power and purpose, knowing who you are and the direction that you want to go so you can be the woman that you're called to be. If you're a woman that's trapped in a toxic relationship and you're trying to find freedom, please reach out. Click on the link below and go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. If you're listening to this today and you're a guy that's been through this whole aspect and you realize that you've shown up toxic, maybe as a liar, maybe as a cheater, maybe as a guy that just hasn't been faithful, whatever it might be, you can go to rawmotivations.com, click on the one-on-ones. There's a link there for you to be able to click through to see how I actually partner with a few men and a few spots that I have open to work with so that I can help them grow and develop into being truthful men versus the coward that you've been showing up. If I can help you out in any aspect anyway, please reach out for help.